Okay, so today is Friday, June the 14th. It is the day after the Raptors have clinched the title in the NBA. It is a glory day. I still feel like I'm dreaming, and eventually it will sink into my big head as to this team being the NBA champions of 2019. Anyway, I decided to do a little bit of a vlog here because I have to record this moment because this is a moment that is just very historic. Obviously, it's epic to Toronto and much less Canada as a whole. It is our only lonesome team that we have in the NBA. The Grizzlies are no longer in existence, but hell, that's Memphis. But the only team to represent Canada is Toronto. So I just wanted to capture this moment and even how I'm feeling because I have been a Raptors fan from absolute day one. Hand to God, I have been there. And I've never let go of this organization from the point where they had announced that Toronto had bought an NBA team and we need a name. This is like a child. You need to name this child to give it an identity, and from there you're going to see it grow. It was when they announced it and they started to open this contest to the city, and you had to go and find these slips cut them out of the newspapers and put the name down and what you want to name the team. There were slips in cereal boxes where you can go and fill out the name also and submit that to the team. So, obviously I chose the Toronto Towers, which I think thousands of others must have chosen it for the obvious reason. But just having to give this name an identity when it was told that the team is named the Toronto Raptors, none of us really, well, I say none of us, a lot of us didn't really like that name because it was like, what the hell is a raptor? Some type of dinosaur. And then all of a sudden it was the cartoonish and, dinosaur that looked like Barney at that time. And if you are old enough to remember the cartoon Barney, you realize that it seemed like a joke that our team was looking like that as our logo and mascot. Anyway, we've gone, and I say we as in my girls, where we had played ball. I have played ball personally since I was about 9 years old, from grade school to high school, right into university at U of T and Arendelle, and then into St. George, and I quit after my second year. And, just having the love to play basketball, it transpired into obviously having a love for the Raptors. And I have played in tournaments, the KFC 3-on-3 that was hosted by Tracy Murray back in the day, if anyone remembers who Tracy Murray is, and hosted also by Herbie, who is still our announcer for the Raptors. But I am amazed when I look back 24 years ago where it all started. Even as a fan, I have invested my time, money, sweat, tears to root for this team and never let go of hope. Just playing basketball and then having the love for this professional team that we have here, it's been a trip. And, as the team progressed, we got players after players, from Dame to Tracy to Oakley to Antonio Davis, and I could be getting out of order, but these are the players that made the most significant difference and memorable to me. JYD and, Sean Marion to Jermaine O'Neal, Jalen Rose, Alvin Williams, Mo Pete, who I have to shout out to is my boy, because of my girl who was to braid his hair. So we got to know Mo Pete on a personal level rather than just the court. But, Vince Carter put us on the map. And when he got drafted here in 1997, I met Vince Carter at Eaton Center. Nobody knew who he was. He was walking around Eaton Center with his best friend Corey, and I approached him and he had no idea what he was going to anticipate, but I was jumping up and down just to say, congrats, we are so happy to have you here. Acquired you from North Carolina. It was amazing. And from there, he took off to be the dunk-off champion, rookie of the year, and so on. And that's where we finally got some recognition, whether it be bad or good, but we finally got some recognition in the NBA. And it has been a trip people still saw us as the joke at the NBA, especially with the logo that we have, this purple dinosaur who people would have, made it parallel to the cartoon Barney at the time. My girl and I, Dorothy, have actually gone to away games. We've been going to away games before Toronto could even realize they can go to away games. We've been going to All-Star weekends from since 2002. We went down in Philly. After that, we went to Atlanta in 2003 just to represent Toronto and support Vince Carter. 2007, I remember that game vividly because we went to Auburn Hills in Detroit, where, yes, the Pistons used to play in Auburn Hills instead of where they are now at Little Caesars Arena, downtown Detroit. My girl and I actually ran off the parking lot because we won that game in 2007. We won. And the Piston fans were nasty to us. They ran us off. They saw our license plate, realizing it was from Ontario, and they thought, hey, what the hell are you guys doing here? You need to get the fuck out of here. So, yeah, we jumped in our car and we took off with the Raptors flag on the back of the trunk. That's how proud we were. Sorry if I get emotional because this is just a time that I am amazed at right now. I look back and I'm like, holy smokes. We have gone through some shit as fans. And I can imagine what the players must be thinking, I mean, from those who were there, who laid the foundation before these players now in present day, nobody was scared of us. Nobody thought we were intimidating. Nobody thought that, we could be taken seriously. They thought we were soft. They thought we were, just taking up space in another country for another team to just come to an arena here in the NBA. It's an American market, for God's sakes. What the heck is a Canadian team doing here? But anyway, I have stuck with this team day in, day out. I've gotten frustrated with them. Even when Vince Carter left, I said, oh my God, I'm never going to follow this team again. I still followed them anyway because I just couldn't stop. But I kept going. And I kept getting the jerseys. And I kept watching the games. And I kept trying to go to events that Raptors would be at. Getting to know the players, getting to know who they are, who does what, where did they come from, what college did they go to, did they even go to college? It's been a journey just to learn this team from the first starting lineup to now. And I've taken hits for this team. I've taken hassling. I've taken bullets, figuratively, not literally. We've been called the joke of the NBA. We've been called soft. We've been called Barney, some dinosaur team, some purple dinosaur team. Even up to last year, my husband and I went to Cleveland for Game 4. In the playoffs, by the way, we were ran out of Cleveland because we lost. Some guy decided to take himself out from the patio where he was eating and decided to stop his meal to come and harass my husband and I and ran us back to our car to get the hell out of Cleveland. Cleveland is one of the nastiest cities as far as I'm concerned I could refer to when it comes to fan base. But now they don't have LeBron. They don't really have to say much, do they? Anyway, as of late, I've been to Philly. Round 2 of this year in playoffs. And they weren't too bad. I thought they'd actually be more aggressive. But you know what? I think the fan base just they have some sense. They know how to separate their emotions from the sheer logic that, you know what? If a team is good, they'll call them out. Their team is good. But if the team is bad, the team is bad. And they will say it about their own 76ers, which I can definitely respect. But they have said to us, and then my husband and I have talked to some of them, you guys are pretty good, and I hope you all take down the Bucks. Coming down to present day now, the 6-6. I am overwhelmed when that buzzer went off at 0.00, even after it was delayed at 0.9 seconds for whatever it was. No timeout call, no timeout was available for the Warriors. So hey, they had to make the right call and make sure Kawhi had to get a 2 free throws in. But it was just delaying the inevitable. But when that 0.00 hit that clock, I was at Hot House with my girls from back in the day, high school back in the day. How it started. We all decided to follow the Raptors. And now we come together to witness this epic moment. The Raptors having to win the NBA championship. It's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle, and it's an absolute great time to be alive. We've gone through some adversities, man. We've gone through some adversities, and I'll give my hats off to DeMar, the prodigal son. We've adopted him. He is a Torontonian, whether he was born here on paper or not. He is a Torontonian, and if it wasn't for him being as good as he was, we would have acquired Kawhi. That is just straight facts. And despite of all the hoopla of the he stay movement, Quine and die movement, whether he stay or not, we are still the NBA champions of 2019. And I couldn't be more proud of this team. I couldn't be more proud. I couldn't be more proud of this team. It's a good time to be a Raptors fan. It's a good time. And it's all been worth it. It's all been worth it. I'll be at that parade to celebrate our boys on Monday, June the 17th. It feels good. It feels really good.